So a quick video today to show you how I use the Sta Wet palette for acrylic painting. And you may have heard one complaint or gripe people have about this palette. I'm going to show you an easy trick that eliminates that issue. But first things first, what is a Sta Wet palette? It's basically a plastic tray with a resealable lid that has a flat sponge and a piece of paper. It helps keep your acrylic paints wet between sessions and while you're working. Also, I have no affiliation with this product. I don't make any money off this video. It's strictly because I've used these palettes for over 10 years now and I really like them. So there's three sizes of the Sta Wet palette. There's the smallest one, I think it's called the Handy palette. It has a white lid. It's like 8 by 8 inches. It's about $30 Canadian. The next one up is the yellow palette, the Painter's Pal. It's 12 inches by 13 inches and it's about $40 Canadian. And then there's a large one called the Premier, which is like 12 by 16 inches. It's about $55 Canadian. Okay, so let's get right to the pros and the cons. Three main pros. Number one, you'll waste far less paint. I hardly ever throw out paint because it lasts for weeks and weeks and weeks in the palette. No more dried out paint, chuck it in the garbage, paint's expensive. Pro number two is always ready to go. I like to get in there, sit down, within 2 minutes I'm painting. Another pro is people say, oh, you have to buy this paper. They consider that a downside. This stuff lasts a long time. It's a special kind of paper. It's very thick. Once you've used it quite a bit and it's got a lot of paint on it, you can just wipe it down and start over. I've used the same sheet for 3-4 paintings. So it really, really lasts a long time. And I guess you could say there are three cons, but they're really minor. The first one is if you put too much water in the sponge, it can water down your paints. The second con, again a minor one, is the paper takes a bit of prep time. The first time you use a new sheet of paper, you have to soak it in water for maybe 15 minutes. The instructions I think say put it in boiling water, and it doesn't need to be boiling, just hot out of the tap. Let it run for a sec, get it hot, and I'll show you how I do that later. And the third con, this is the one I hear complaints most about, is the smell. People say if it's wet for a while, it can get mildew, it can get smell. There's all kinds of, I think they're urban legends about putting pennies under the sponge, saying that the copper will stop the mildew from forming. First of all, you need a penny from, I think it's 1982 in the US. They stopped using copper in somewhere in the mid-90s, 96 maybe. In Canada, we stopped using copper, and now pennies are gone from both countries, so they're going to disappear. And I really don't think it works. Pennies are not a strong source of copper. Maybe if you lay strips of actual pure copper underneath, it would help, but there's a much simpler way. So how do you avoid any chance of mildew or smell? Simple. 2 sponges. Here's how I do it. It's very simple. Mildew needs moisture, so if you take that away, you solve the problem. So each time, just swap out a sponge that was left to dry at the end of the last session. So that way one sponge stays wet for the time between sessions and for one painting session. Then it dries out and there's no need to worry about mildew. So at the end of this session, I take the sponge out of my palette here that I've been using, wet this sponge, replace it, take the sponge out of the palette, rinse it out, let it dry. Also, remember I said the paper can be used for a long time. I usually have multiple sheets on the go. So if I end a session with not much paint on the palette, I'll just move this paint over to the other piece of paper that I've just re-soaked. Then you're putting a new piece of paper on a new sponge at the end of the session. Mildew never has a chance to grow because the sponge and the palette and the paper only stay wet for a few days. Easy fix. Another thing I read to help keep down on the smells or mildew in the palette is to keep the palette in the fridge. Not really sure this works, but I'm lucky enough to have a fridge in my studio. So at the end of every session, I just pop it in the fridge. This is the sponge. This is what they look like when they're well loved, many, many years old. Like I say, it lasts forever, pretty tough material. So the sponge goes in the bottom, damp, not dripping. And then here's a well-used palette paper. I think I'm onto my third painting with this one. And I think it's useful showing one that's been used for a while because you can see how different color paints react to the moisture. Reds I find will run, so I had way too much red here because I was painting something separately, nothing to do with my paintings. And it kind of ran off into the other ones, but it's no problem. You can just pull it back in. I'll quickly show you how I set mine up. No need for the boiling water. People putting the paper in the microwave for 15 minutes. It's nonsense. Just run the hot water into your sink. Fill the tray till it overflows. Just as hot as it comes out of the sink is perfectly fine. Take a piece of the paper. Again, this is a piece I cut out of the larger one because it was on sale. Saves you a ton of money. Stick it in the tray. Take your sponge. Lay it in the tray. Push it down. Sponge will soak up the water. Let it sit for 15 minutes and it's ready to go. All you have to do after 15 minutes is take out the sponge. Take out the paper. Dump the water. This is the key bit. Make sure you wring out the sponge. You don't want it dripping. You just want it damp. In it goes. Sponge back in. If the paper's got a bit of water on it, just sort of rub that off with your hands, or let it sit for a minute. You don't want any standing water on top of the paper. Push it into the sponge. You're ready to go. And here's one final tip. Watch for this paper to go on sale. I mean, like I said before, it lasts a really long time. This package here is meant for the yellow palette. I bought this a couple years ago. I still have plenty left because, like I said, it lasts forever. This package I bought, this massive one, blocks the whole screen. It's for the large palette, which I don't even have, but it was 30 sheets. It was on sale on Amazon for the same price as 30 sheets for the small. So it's a no-brainer. Take this, cut them up to whatever size you want. Now you've got 60 sheets for the same price. Doesn't have to match exactly. So my 2 cents, if you're an acrylic painter, go get one. Start with the smaller one. It's the one I use the most. It's only 20 bucks. I think it comes in a kit with a few sheets, maybe 5 sheets of paper and the sponge. Buy yourself an extra sponge, you won't regret it. So any users of the Sta Wet palette out there, did I miss any pros? Did I miss any cons? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. It means a lot to a small channel just starting out like mine. Till next time.